Hello guys, and as you can see from in the video, back on the Cody helmet. Working on this now in between the Bush helmet. I should have uploaded a nice little montage of me working on it. I got the painting video to come up soon as well, but I thought it's a nice day today, might as well get some work done on this. I was actually going to sell this. Well, not sell it, I wanted to trade it for a Biker Scout setup, but there's been a lot of interest in it, and I'm thinking about actually keeping it now. So I thought I'd maybe have a crack at finishing it. So the last video it was all pretty much assembled. All the bits are all magnetized on. You can see the little earth magnet in there which just clips into place. Everything's nice and firmly held on, like so. We got a slight problem of the seam line and other little imperfections that we're going to work on. I did give this a coat of body filler, but I'm going to go in now and give it a finer coat with some putty model filler. So I thought I'd show you that. And also we need to work on this visor section, which needs to be completely smothered in body filler on the inside to get a nice smooth finish. So hopefully we'll cover that in this short video, or a long one depending on how slow I am. So let's get to applying this. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've marked out all these little imperfections. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up, if it will focus. I don't think it is. It's quite small, but there's a small seam line there that I've sanded. Got some leftovers here as well. And we're just going to go ahead and apply some putty to these sections, and then we'll start sanding it smooth. So like I said, the putty is this brand of putty. I've only just started using it. I picked it up for an X-Wing kit that I was going to put together, but I used it on the Bush helmet and it worked out pretty well. So basically I'm just going to put this on with my finger. I don't know if that's healthy or not, but don't need too much. So literally I'm just going to get it, I'm just going to apply it to the seam, get it as smooth as possible. The smoother you get it, the less work you'll have when you sand it. So make sure it's nice and smooth, which that isn't, but there you go. I'll put a little bit more then. Right there. Just to fill this. Yeah, then we have a little bit more done here as well. I've circled them all so you don't forget where they are. A little bit by there. A little bit by there. Now this dries quite quickly, so I'm trying to be as quick as I can. Forgive the shoddy camera work. But that's pretty much it. Doesn't take that long to dry. A couple of minutes and then it's pretty much ready. And it's really easy to sand as well. It's a lot easier to sand than this stuff, which I'll use for the bigger problem areas, which I'll be using for the visor. But that'll come in a minute. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll go at that now with put my hit with some 200 grit, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so note to self: don't apply this stuff with your bare fingers. It's quite a bugger to get off your hands. So use gloves on a little spatula, just for the future. But okay, so I left this for about 10-15 minutes, and it's pretty dry now. So I'm going to go ahead and sand it. I'm going with some 220 grit sandpaper. I'm not going to go too much into this. I covered it with the Boba Fett helmet. You can see it in the Bush video as well. It's just basically just sanding it nice and smooth. So this stuff does sand really nicely. Get it nice and smooth. The idea is that the surface was completely smooth, apart from the one little ridge. So if you see any filler, you know that it's a slight raised section. So you want to get it all sanded off, and all that should remain is what's in the seam line. Actually get right down in there. That's looking very nice. Doesn't look very nice at the moment though, because scratched through the primer, but that seam line is now gone. Nice and smooth. So we'll go ahead and sand this down, and then we can get to filling in the visor section. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've sanded smooth all the rough areas, apart from a little bit in there, because I just put another bit on because I actually missed it. The ear, nice and smooth. Bear in mind this is just with 220 grip. You still got to go ahead and wet sand this bad boy. Also, I'm going to side the trim, the little details. See, it's all the details that you've got to do, making sure it's a nice finish. Sand it inside here as well. There's a couple of little bits that I need to fix up on it, but it's pretty much ready for wet sanding. So, I'm going to go ahead, put the camera down, so it doesn't fall. Okay. Take the helmet away. We're going to go on and work on this visor section. Okay, so for this, there's a couple of tutorials. There's one on clonetrooper.net that I've seen in which they oven clean the entire piece. It's not a really good camera angle. I'm trying to get a little bit higher so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. So what they do is they oven clean the piece because it's got quite a lot of release agent, I believe, on it. Then you have to trim it all up with a Dremel. But inside it's a fiberglass casting. You can see that it's quite rough. And also when you put it on the helmet, the two little sections that come off here that attach to the helmet, they don't quite line up. So I'm hoping that this layer of body filler that I'll use will help line them up a bit. So for the body filler, I am using Loctite professional grade body filler. It's the stuff I always use. I know in the States there's Bondo, and that's what most people call it. It's actually body filler. This is polyester based, so you'll want to use a mask. I might not use it for the first bit, just to show you. I got all the windows open, the doors in the workshop, but I'm also going to use some gloves as well. And let's get cracking. I'll probably edit this and jump in and out, because I don't want this video to be too long. So go ahead and get a screwdriver and open this thing up. Pop open, you have your hardener, a nice little mixing scoop, and of course you have the body filler. And just thought about it then, need something to mix the body filler, so I've got a little sheet of styrene here. So let's open them up. Ooh, smell that polyester goodness. I'm actually going to put my mask on, so sorry if I'm a bit muffled. Hopefully you can still understand me. So basically, the idea it works is you want a golf ball, I'll put this like this. That's what I'm doing. Okay, you want a golf ball size of this, and a pea size of this. That's the usual ratio you want it with. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a nice golf ball size. Spread it down on a piece of scrap. Hardener. Make sure you do that. Always put the lid back on things, because guarantee you take the lid off, you'll spill it. You want to start mixing this up. You want to mix it thoroughly. If you don't mix it thoroughly, it won't properly cure, and it will not harden, and you'll have a hell of a time scraping it all off your piece. And mix it till you see no yellow. Oh, this is looking quite right. We're going to turn over our piece, like so. I'm just going to apply the body filler to the piece. Sorry if you can't see, but I'll show you now in a moment. Now, this stuff is quite difficult to sand, so usually the smoother you apply it, the easier time you're going to have it sanding it. So I'll make sure I get all these bits out. Another good reason to wear gloves, you can get your fingers right in the piece. That of course is going to need another coat or two. That's the gist of it. Okay, that took a lot longer than expected. Didn't realise how much filler I'd actually need to coat the inside of this, and my filler was quite thick, which you saw in the last video, so getting a nice coverage is quite difficult. So went ahead, last time you saw me I just done this little section here. I've gone ahead and gone all the way around with the filler. Took about 2 coats this did. 1 coat to put it down, give it a good sand, and another coat to fill in most of the low spots and everything. Still a couple of really bad areas by here, and also some bits underneath here which I'm going to try and sort out right now. Not too bothered about anything really from this point back, as you just don't see it on the helmet, but I'm going to try and get it to look nice, so that when you do take the visor off it looks nice and professional. But I'm going to go ahead now, mix a little tiny bit of filler up, and we're going to fill in these little trouble areas, try and true up this line across here. You can already see I tried to start puttying some bits with this dark grey section is, but I think I was getting a bit ahead of myself. So we'll go ahead and we'll mix up some visor. It also needs nice sand on the outside. Some of the filler wasn't too very neat with it, just lobbing it on there. So okay, so I mix up some more filler, and I'll put it on. Okay, so you can see now that I've applied all our lovely green gooey filler to the problem areas. I had a lot of rough patches down this little crease here, as well as towards the back of that crease. Try to get on as smooth as possible, as that means less work. I can't remember if I showed you the process of sanding this stuff in the Boba Fett helmet videos, tutorial thingies. So what I'm using is a 60 grit. Just rip it off. Rip it off the roll. Fold it up to double itself. It's nice and whole. Give it a little bend. And you just want to work your way at it. Because this is a curved piece, I'm trying to follow the contour of the piece, so I'm working around in this sort of way, and you just keep at this until eventually, in a moment, it starts to get smooth, as you can see in this section here. You got to keep at it. It's quite literally sand, reapply, and then sand again. But eventually you get a nice surface, free from imperfections and stuff. This is the 3rd piece of filler I've now put on this section, and should hopefully be the last. So I'll go ahead now, I'll sand all this bits out, make it all nice and smooth, and we'll go to the putty stage then, to fill up any smaller little holes that don't need body filler. So, okay guys, so here we are. Just give this a nice coat of primer, just to see where we're looking. I went ahead and sanded off the last layer of filler that I put on. You can see this side is looking very nice now. Still a couple of trouble areas that I need to sort out, which I'll be doing now in this video, but this area needs a little bit more attention. All around this section here. All this part here is going to need another small pass of filler. That's all I think we'll be needing of that now. The rest then I think we can sort out with the putty. I've given this a sand with 150 grit, so it's looking kind of smooth. The outside as well, I give it a good pass over with some 150. I had to do a slight bodge job on this section here, in which I had to glue on a piece of styrene to this section and the inside to thicken the piece up, as they just weren't right. And you have to attach these little sections, which attach underneath here, and it just wasn't looking right, so I had to bulk out the piece. So I'm going to go ahead now and apply our putty again. Same process as what you saw on the helmet, so I'm not going to go too much into it. Just going to get the putty out and literally just place it on the troubled area that you want sorted, like so. Just rub it in. Make sure you get it nice in the gap. The smoother you apply it, the less work you do, but this really doesn't need much sanding. So I'll go ahead now, I'll finish this, and hopefully after that we'll have our completed Cody visor. And then we can maybe put it on the helmet.